another episode of the D-Rank Warriors, and today we'll be going over Dark. As you can see, we are currently on the forum page for the Dark Viability rankings, and right now the only D-Rank listed is Obstagoon, so that makes this challenge relatively easy. So we'll just go on and see what kind of sets Obstagoon can run. So as you can see here, this is the standard set that I usually like to use, which is Flame Orb Guts with Close Combat, Facade, Knockoff, and Obstruct. You can use Taunt on this slot as well if you want, and you can use a different coverage move over Close Combat, but I prefer Close Combat because it hits Steel types, and also opposing Dark types, which is really annoying. And also Obstruct is the reason I use Obstruct over Taunt. And Taunt is still good, don't get me wrong, like it's very good for stopping Ferrothorn and Toxapex from hurting you, and using passive moves, but the reason why I like using Obstruct is because for Choice Scarfers, like Dracovish for example, you can hit him, sack another Mon, or even Obstagoon himself, and then you can force out Dracovish with your next Mon, and it's not very easy to do that, but if you don't have like your speed control and Hydreigon alive, this is very useful for especially Bisharp, I find, because it helps let Bisharp revenge kill pretty much whatever comes in next. And against other Scarfers like Terrakion, you can just scout their move that they're going to use and then just find another optimal switch in, like Mandibuzz for example, if he uses Close Combat. Or if he uses Stone Edge, you could just send in literally anyone else that isn't Mandibuzz. So it's very useful for that. I will admit, against some Pokemon it doesn't work. Like against Keldeo, you're still gonna lose a Pokemon, but it's still very useful to know like which moves you're gonna get hit by. And it may seem counterintuitive because of Flame Orb, but it's generally fine, and it can still work pretty well. And I used it against Pidgey and it did well, so yeah. Next up we have the Choice Scarf set, which I find a lot more people are a fan of. So this set is still relatively hits decently hard, especially with the Reckless boost. But yeah, you use the same moves generally, except Double Edge just to take advantage of Reckless, and still use Knockoff and Close Combat. Now, I find some people use Switcheroo on this set, and all that is fine, because it does help with Corviknight a little bit. I find that Parting Shot is also a pretty good option, because it allows you to pivot out, which is very hard for Dark to do without like a Hydreigon. So if you're going to replace your Choice Scarfer with this Choice Scarfer, for example, I find that Parting Shot is a little more useful in my opinion, but it is what it is, and you can still use either or. It doesn't really matter that much. But yeah, you can use Switcheroo or you can use Parting Shot. It doesn't matter. Also, he does learn Trick, but there's basically no difference, so I just do Switcheroo because it looks nicer. But yeah, those are all the sets we have for Obstagoon, so let me go on the team that I have for him. And we'll see that it's basically standard Dark for the most part. You got Tyranitar, especially defensive, with Thunder Wave, Rocks, standard coverage. We got Mandibuzz, with U-turnless Mandibuzz with Taunt, which is useful for opposing walls. We got Bisharp, who basically helps revenge kill a lot of things and works really well with Obstagoon's Obstruct here. And because we aren't using Choice Scarf Obstagoon, I'll use Choice Scarf Hydreigon, which is very useful during a Dragon matchup. And speaking of useful in the Dragon matchup, we got Grimmsnarl, and this guy helps out a lot against Keldeo. Keldeo will probably still kill you, but in general, he'll definitely take a kill, especially if he comes in for free thanks to Hydreigon. But yeah, this team is pretty alright, and while I haven't used it in tournament, and the one time I did, it didn't do that well, because I brought it against Toxapex for BLT, and unfortunately I got matched up against Keldeo, and Keldeo still destroys this team pretty hard, especially if you don't play properly, or like play like really, really well. And unfortunately I didn't play super well, so I ended up losing that game, but it is what it is. and we'll see how this team does in a few of the games that I tested out with. So, without further ado, let's go take a look at some of the games that I did this with. Ooh, that's not the right thing. Hold on. This isn't the right account. Alright, so we got this guy right here, who brought Dragon. And Dragon's actually a pretty fair MU, because as I said, I got two Pokemon that help really well with this matchup. Como is a little annoying, but you'll see why I was able to take care of him later. So I start with Tyranitar, which is pretty fine as a lead. Tyranitar basically, well actually, I was planning on going Obstagoon first, but then I decided on Tyranitar because I was just unsure if he was going to like lead with Dragapult instead, even though Dragapult doesn't really make a ton of sense. But I feel like I should have led with Obstagoon instead, but it wouldn't have mattered because he just led with Como anyway, and that was just bad. So he ended up critting my Grimmsnarl, which is not good, and then Sand makes Grimmsnarl even weaker. I ended up switching out Grimmsnarl because obviously I don't want to lose my Dragon immunity, and send out Mandibuzz to try and check Como. That didn't work out so well, and he doubled out to Duraludon. I ended up taunting because I thought he'd be Rocks or T-Wave. So then I switched back out in my T-Tar, he went into Como again. At this point I'm not playing very well, like at all, and he even says GG, because he thinks that the game's over. And I click a few more buttons because I'm just panicking at this point, I don't know what to do. And then I realized, wait a minute, I have Scarf Hydreigon. Most of these Pokemon aren't really faster than Hydreigon, and we don't know yet what his Hydreigon is, but I still walled his Hydreigon with my Tyranitar, so I can just still. So now that I know his Como set, I can just kind of sweep most of his team with just Hydreigon, so I have to play this thing well. And I also have Grimmsnarl to stop Dragon Spam, in case he tries to Draco Meteor with Dragon Pole. So when I realized this, I realized I still have potential to win this game. So at this point, I just spam Draco Meteor. We kill his Hydreigon, which is great because now we don't have to worry about being Scarf or not. Since I already knew, the reason why I did this play was because I knew he was going to click Fish's Rend, because literally, who is switching into this? No one is switching into Fish's Rend. So I decided, yeah, since Fish's Rend gets weaker because he has to move first, I'll just use Draco Meteor again. I thought Draco Meteor would kill, but it did not. But it didn't matter because he wasn't killing me next turn anyway, and clicking Outrage would be a misplay. I do unfortunately miss this turn, which sucks, and I thought I was going to die for it, but I did not, thank God. The crit did not matter there at all. And he would send in Kyurem, I'd send in Tyranitar, I was assuming Dragon Dance, which he did do. And here's a play that really confused me. So this play might seem fine in context, without context, but this guy is actually Substitute. So I don't know why he clicked Icicle Spear first thing when T-Wave was the obvious play, but he clicked Icicle Spear, he got a crit, and hit 3 times, even though T-Tar lived all 5 hits if he didn't crit once. Yeah, he gets paralyzed, which is very good for me. Tyranitar is dead, however, and that might be a problem later on. I use Obstruct to try and scout what he's going to do next, because I was going to click Close Combat, but I wasn't sure if it was going to kill. So I decided to just play it safe, because I didn't think he was Substitute, because of the play I made before, but then he turned out to be Substitute, so that was weird. Then he clicks Icicle Sphere again. It only hits me twice. If it was 3 times, I would have lived, but if Obstagoon died here before, I could have knocked him off. If he died on that Icicle Sphere, I still had a Hydreigon to revenge kill. So if he killed, it was fine. It was literally fine if he killed. I also had a Bisharp too. So, and because he's either Icicle Sphere or Fusion Bolt, I don't have to worry about any other moves that could potentially kill me. So I was fine, whether I liked it or not. He put in Como to try and revenge kill my Obstagoon, which would work because Como is really bulky for whatever reason. And then I put in my Hydreigon again. He sacks his Duraludon. He sends out Dragapult. Now, obviously, the play here is to sack something else, so I sack Grimmsnarl, because I don't think I need a Dragon immunity anymore, because Bisharp walls this guy if he uses Dragon, whatever he was going to use. Also, U-turn there was kind of weird. So the reason why I clicked Grimmsnarl was because Draco Meteor was quite obvious, because it would be the thing that would... Well, actually, no, Draco Meteor wasn't obvious, but uh, whatever move he used, either Hydreigon resisted it or Bisharp would revenge kill him regardless. Because he's Black Glasses, so he would OHKO this thing regardless of what he did. So I guess he wanted to get it out of there, and U-turn was a fine play, looking back, but it would actually cost him later because now Hydreigon came in and basically took him on for free. And then he used Dragon Darts, which proved that he was physical, and yeah, he quit afterwards. Remember when he said GG in the beginning of the game like he won? Yeah, he didn't win. So I managed to bring that game back without hacks, thank God. Next up we have a game versus Fatty Rabbit that I also thought I was going to lose because Primarina, Dracovish, Keldeo, and Webs. I didn't think I was going to win this at all, but let's see how it turned out. So he leads with Araquanid, that was pretty obvious, and since I don't have taunt, I wasn't going to bother with putting Obstagoon in first, trying to predict that. Also, I kind of wanted Webs in this matchup because it would boost Bisharp to obscene levels and basically make revenge killing Dracovish way easier. So that's why I did that. I ended up U-turning just to scout, and I went to Obstagoon because I thought he was going to click a... Oh, that was actually a misplay because he was going to click Leech Life, I believe. So, and I don't think it would have killed Obstagoon, to be honest with you. So I guess that's why I might have done it, because switching into Mandibuzz was pointless, because that's basically just giving him webs for free. Or basically letting him toxic. It was weird. I didn't know his set, and this play in general was kind of weird, but I think it turned out fine. So yeah, I'd kill his Araquanid because Obstagoon is a beast. I would scout his Keldeo. The fact that he didn't call mine there was proof that he was clearly Specs, or at least Scarf. Most likely Specs, though. Tyranitar would come in, it would deal a lot of damage because it turned out to be LO. And for some reason, his Primarina is slower than my Tyranitar, so I was able to get rocks up, which is great. Obstagoon would come in to threaten another Pokemon. This time it would be Pelipper, who gets O-Code. And Pelipper now has Rain-Ups, which means Seismitoad can go crazy. Also, this Pokemon turns into a monster. So yeah, at this point I decided I have to go sack Mandibuzz. And surprisingly, Mandibuzz didn't die, despite being in rain and getting hit with a full turn. And yeah, what you saw there was why I like using Obstruct, because it forced out Dragovich, where that situation probably would have been more dire. It would have been more dire because rain was up, and Hydreigon really didn't want to. You didn't really want to put Hydreigon in because even though he threatened it out, Primarina like switches in for free in front of Hydreigon. So there's really nothing. There would have been nothing I could have been able to do if I wasn't Obstruct there. That's what kind of why I think using it is kind of justified. I went for Sucker Punch because that would have been the obvious play. I ended up sacking Bisharp because I knew Obstagoon would just claim the kill later on. Obstagoon kills another person. And at this point I realized, yeah, Hydreigon's not going to be doing much this game, so I sack him. And then I put Grimmsnarl in. Grimmsnarl is bulk up 3 attacks, as you saw. So I knew that using Spirit Break was pretty much free there, and I would have killed anyone. Alright, Spirit Break actually was going to kill there regardless because he was max Adamant attack. So that was fine. And then I'd kill his Keldeo later. And that would be it. So yeah. Those are the 2 games I had with this set, and it kind of shows just how dangerous Obstagoon can be. And I hope this video is very educational to you as to how Obstagoon can be used on Dark and why it has a niche in the first place, because I can tell you right now, Crawdon probably wouldn't have been able to do what Obstagoon did on this team. So, Crawdon, or Pekko, those 2 Pokemon wouldn't have done anything. Comparable, let's see what other Pokemon are comparable to it on this type. Incineroar, definitely not. Drapion, also definitely not. Sableye, with utility, it probably would be more useful, but yeah, as a wall breaker, Obstagoon is kind of unique on this type. Not as good as, per se, Bisharp or Weavile, obviously, but on its own, it's pretty decent. And that's why I think it should be given the light of day. So, with that knowledge, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please subscribe if you are interested in this kind of content and want more. I'll be doing one of these every day. And yeah, just subscribe if you really enjoyed it. Have a good day, y'all.